You're listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM. Presented by McDivitt Law Firm.
I didn't know you were coming in today, buddy. I would have got cleaned up. I need a shave and a haircut. I haven't done it for a while.
Well, I guess you showered, so that's fine. I've done the same thing. This week. It's October, right? Yeah, I shower in October.
See, I'm growing it out for my costume. Coming up for
what
Halloween.
Is it? The costume.
It's Disgruntled Guy.
Oh, that's a departure from you.
Yeah, just Disgruntled Guy. He's like his unkept hair and then shaggy beard and stuff like that, and he's always just like. I think it's gonna be huge. I might win a few $100 this Halloween. I'm thinking. We have.
Do you guys have an office pool?
No. I just go to seedy bars.
Okay.
And enter all the contests at seedy bars here in town. And I just bounce from seedy bar to seedy bar until I win enough money or I get stabbed.
That's a good way to do it.
So Dave will be in studio here in just a few minutes. Let me know when you get to the parking lot. We'll go to break and then we'll welcome you officially. But we have some really great stories to discuss here today. We got inappropriate work pictures. Did you read on that one? You ever do that, by the way, man? You ever send any private pictures of yourself to anyone? You're a lawyer, so that could really come back to bite you, huh?
I am in the parking lot. Let's talk about this because that's a juicy one.
All right, we'll wait.
Just like the photos I send.
I did get some, but I don't know if it's real. You know, it's one of those things. So we'll talk about that. We got a vehicle that was towed, and it's greasy too. It was called in by a business, but it wasn't on the business's property. So this guy being a jerk right there. That hit the jerk alarm. Jerk! And then this one's I hope we can get a hold of Guadalupe. A question about being wrongfully arrested for a crime. It's like, what was that? The man with one arm or whatever. What was that? The Fugitive? It was a TV show, and then they made a movie out with my uncle Harrison Ford. And it was basically a guy who was accused of killing his wife and kid or something like that, and he was innocent. So he broke out of jail and then spent his time trying to find the guy with one arm that did it. But it's similar to that. Maybe not quite as greasy, but still imagine being arrested for a crime, and then your life is just blown up, finances, your job, all this stuff, and then, you're innocent. Never mind. Sorry about that. It's like, whoa. What the hell happened there, right? Back that up. Are you going to be able to help that guy?
Well, see, I don't know. I mean, are we still talking about the fugitive or Guadalupe? Because the fugitives, I think he took care of his situation. I think he resolved that.
He did it. He won. Uncle Harrison, spoiler alert, by the way, Uncle Harrison wins at the end of that one. Guadalupe's story.
In every movie.
Give me like a 1 to 10 scale. How much help are you going to give Guadalupe about his wrongful arrest?
Probably it's a 4, a solid 4, maybe a 3 3/4, a 4.
I was looking for
because I think what Guadalupe wants is full compensation for everything, and Ross, it's going to kind of depend on the facts. We don't really have all the facts.
All right, that's why I want to get him on the phone. All right, I'll tell you what. You get your butt out of the car in the studio. I'll see if we can get a hold of Guadalupe, and we'll get things officially going here in a minute. Sound good?
Sounds good, Ross. See you.
All right, the Law Frog officially live next here at Kilo.
You're listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM. Presented by McDivitt Law Firm.
All right, so McDivitt here for the rest of our time. And we got a few questions. We hit up Guadalupe, who has a pretty amazing story looking for some help in regards to being falsely accused of a crime. So we left a message. Hopefully they'll call in and check in here in a few. Let's go first to thank you text from Citizen Levita. You might remember her from the last time you were in Mr. McDivitt. She had a greasy roommate they were trying to kick out. And FYI, and a big thank you from Levita on the text line. I got that eviction taken care of. Person tried to stay after I did all the paperwork. So we removed the bedroom door from its hinges. They changed the Wi-Fi. They changed the locks. And they put all their crap outside and videoed the entrance to their home. And that was enough for her to finally get the hint, pack up her stuff, and get the hell out of there.
Those aren't hints. That's a bullhorn.
Like, yeah. Well, it's funny, too, because she still dragged her heels, and then Levita says that she took videos of her drug paraphernalia and a bunch of other greasy stuff. Says, I have this video. You call the cops. I'll give it to them. And she's like, all right, well, I'm going to go now.
Well, listen, it sounds like it worked out.
Victory!
That may not have been my advice to her, or nor may it be I would suggest.
No, your advice was like, lock all the doors and burn the place to the ground, I think is what you said. Oh, maybe that's what I said. I don't know.
Yeah, let's roll the tape on that. You know, I actually did an interview with Fox 21 2 days ago about a similar issue. The facts and circumstances are a little different, but it's about a couple. There's a GoFundMe campaign right now for a couple, and they have people living with them now who apparently manipulated their way into the living arrangement.
Okay. Almost like squatters.
Right, and so I talked about the difference between squatters and tenants, and where you might call somebody a squatter, really, in fact, they were a tenant, and the steps you'd have to take to get them out of there. So, I mean, this is a common thing, and so this particular GoFundMe campaign was designed to help William and Arlene, a couple here who I've not met, but I'm just talking about the story that I was asked to comment on. A woman comes in and apparently manipulates her way, takes advantage of this particular man's cognitive challenges right now at this stage in his life. I think he's battling dementia. And then she brings some other people with her, and then they just don't leave. And trying to get them to leave the house.
It's like a messed up version of the Adaman Club.
Yeah.
It's like you start with one and then hey, look,
every year, we're adding another one, and another one, and another one. Every New Year's Eve, let's take another one up the top of the mountain.
That's funny. So what's the result there then?
I don't know what the result's going to be. Yeah. I think my suggestion was, look, there are steps that you can take that don't involve taking the door off, changing the Wi-Fi, forcibly removing their stuff, and then trying to blackmail them with photos of their drug paraphernalia. Granted, that may have worked in that particular situation, but my counsel to anybody would be, follow the law. There are steps that you take to actually put notice up, let somebody know, hey, their tenancy has come to an end. They need to get out, and then you can go get a court order. And once you have the court order in place, you get the sheriff to do that. And have the sheriff come in and take their stuff, put it on the curb. So, but no, there's another layer to this too, which is there's a concern that this particular family, I think, had expressed some concerns that they felt unsafe now in their home. And then there's another issue where you can involve the police if there is an actual threat to your health and safety. That's separate from trying to get somebody evicted. That's just an acute issue right now. Hey, listen, I've got to get the police in here because something fishy's going on and I'm in danger.
Wow, that's why very hard to believe. Like some people Airbnb a room in their house. It's like I wouldn't just open my home to any person that just clicks on.
I have been Airbnb a room in your house for months, and I've yet to be paid by anybody.
Hey, are you the guy in the attic? I thought I heard some scraping around.
I'm just saying.
Let's get to one of our three questions and hope that Guadalupe will hold his question till the end. Hopefully he'll check in before the end of this hour. One involves the good old-fashioned picture of your penis unwantedly sent to random people. No one wants to see it there, gentlemen. All right, someone asks you for it, by all means, you can reciprocate. But there's no reason to put the old camera down the pants and go nuts. That was actually from my photo shoot a few weeks ago.
Still trying to get the right. Still trying to find it.
I've only done it once, but when I did it, it was spectacular. So I took about 1,000 shots.
Listen, this lends itself to a lot of different things. My kids asked today, like, hey, they finally, I think it's clicking that I do a radio show with you. Hey, can we ever listen? I said, well, sometimes what we talk about is probably not appropriate for kids. Granted, this is a radio show that we're in people's cars. People are taking their kids to school, perhaps. They're running late. I want to be very sensitive to what we say, but we are talking about a pic, as he said, of a particular part of the male body. And as you know, I'm single, and I date from time to time. I have, on more than one occasion, been asked to provide a photo like that.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, hey, whoa, what, are you crazy?
I did not know. I always thought it was a one-way street.
No, I mean, I've gone out with a lot of women who've said, look, I've been on the wrong end of getting these random pics from guys. It's the first thing they send. Like, you start texting them, and then immediately, boom, it's like a grenade that goes off in your cell phone. But there have been a few women who have said, hey, so am I going to get one of these surprises? And I've said, no, that's not how I roll.
Right, because as a lawyer, that could be problematic. Ooh, I mean, that's like a movie, right? So it's all of that. They're blackmailing you.
Yeah, so if you get one purportedly of it's not mine.
It's not him. He has a stunt.
Yeah.
Stunt penis guy. Yeah. You got a guy for that, right?
Yeah, it's like Boogie Nights.
he has Dirk Diggler working for him.
That's right.
And somebody, the girl's like, hey, send me a pic. He's like, hey, Dirk, pop one over to this one, 719-633-5456.
Shit, that's my mom.
Whoa. So, all right, so we're getting way off base.
Yeah, we are. But actually, so you want to talk about the circumstances here, because this is we're kind of making light of the fact that there are people out there who enjoy seeing this, but this is a situation, I think, where you got somebody
especially at work.
who did not want this.
Melissa got an inappropriate text message from a coworker, not direct manager, but definitely higher up in the company that she is. She worries if she says something to HR, she'll be the one who gets punished. It's a small company. She hasn't been there as long as he has as well. Can I report this to the police and go through the legal route rather than the company? Ooh, man, that's a dubious decision, right?
Yeah, it is.
Which way do you go?
So I'm gonna suggest a couple of things. Do you want to keep reading?
She said, just wants to make sure it doesn't jeopardize her job, would like to remain anonymous. Oh, maybe Melissa's not her real name. You need to stay anonymous under your name. You can't put your name and then at the very end of your email say,
by the way, I don't want people to know my name.
You're a little late, D. McD. Wants to remain anonymous, doesn't get punished. Oh, so maybe within regards to the company wants to stay anonymous. But a small company like that, that's going to get out. I worked for small places. You can't keep.
No, you can't. Let me. I'm just going to say right now. Certainly, if it's harassing him, you can involve the police. And I think the first thing that she would need to do from that angle is to make it clear and put in writing back to that person, hey, do not send me anything again. That helps.
Just set that precedent.
Set the precedent. So, and I'm talking about for criminal harassment charges. If you've let somebody know ahead of time that you don't want to be contacted that way, that's not to say that a single incident of this can't be harassment or some other kind of, obscene. It could fall under some kind of criminal statute just for the obscene content.
I could see that. All right. Why did you say no? You probably wanted it, huh?
Yeah, I know. Listen, it's
mentality.
horrible.
The mentality's out there.
I would like to think, I do know that there are some employers who don't take this seriously or treat it the way that they should, but it does need to be reported. There are channels typically within an organization. There's somebody to whom she can report it. Her own direct supervisor needs to know about this, and she needs to document what she's doing, because the employer then, is not allowed to just fire her or demote her or cut her salary, anything, because of reporting this. There are retaliatory steps that a business might take that would be unlawful. And she would then have a separate cause of action against the employer if they retaliate against her.
Right, and then maybe you wouldn't have to have that job, Melissa. Because you'd be doing fine.
Yeah.
Why don't you forward that pic to us too, Melissa, so we can make fun of it on the air?
Sorry, I'm still. I've got my law hat on and not my. I like to look at Ross Ford's photos that he receives hat on right now. But I'll let you send that to Ross. Anonymous, don't send it to me. I don't want those photos on my phone, just in case I get arrested for hanging out with Ross Ford.
So set the table, set that email out to him. That's the legal side of things. And then which way do you think she should lean? With the law or with the company? What should be your first step? The company, right?
I think the company. Most organizations, even if they're small, will have some kind of policy in place. There may be a handbook, an employee handbook, that explains what you do in a situation where you need to report something, what that chain looks like. Some organizations provide a third-party option. So you can call an independent company that works with the company, and you can make a complaint that way, and then they can begin an investigation. They will touch base with the supervisors. It's going to depend in many instances on what the policy framework is for the company. The smaller the company is, different rules apply in Colorado. There are Colorado rules and federal rules that are implicated in a situation like this when you're dealing with workplace harassment, with retaliation. Understandably, Anonymous here is concerned about what could happen both to herself, but also, I don't know if did she say she was hoping to get this guy fired, or she just wanted to stop, or what? And that almost doesn't matter. What matters is this was conduct. It was uninvited.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Wrong place, wrong time, and it needs to stop. And she needs to feel comfortable and empowered that she can do something about this.
Because get that email and set the table, and then be sure to follow that up with some emails when you report, and that way, if they try something greasy, at least you got your butt covered, right?
Yeah, I think so. Right. Look, there are 1,000 other things, and there are employment lawyers who can help with this too.
You're listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM. Presented by McDivitt Law Firm.
Are wrongly accused for a crime and it affects your reputation, your finances, are you entitled to compensation? Full evidence to prove you innocent and the arrest was unjust. Also not allowing you back to work due to the work's location on military base. He loses his ability to go on a base over all this stuff, which says bunk. That is crazy. Like I said, it's like that movie, The Fugitive. So let's go. Guadalupe here. Morning, man. Thanks for picking up the phone. How are you? I mean, you all right?
I'm doing all right.
Tough. It's a tough few months, huh?
Yeah, I was out of work for 3 weeks, and my company just was able to get me out to another job site.
That was just no longer on a military base?
No, I'm not allowed on any military bases right now because it was a federal warrant.
Wow. All right. So is this thing cleared up now, or are you all...
No, I'm still dealing with it because my finances said that I made about $4,000 too much for a public defender. No attorneys or anything will take my case without money. So, I'm waiting on my next court date because when I tell the judge and everybody that I'm innocent, they don't really want to hear it. They don't really care.
Wow. Dave, what question?
So let me ask you something. Are you still... has the arrest been... Okay,
so,
walk me through this. Like, have you been charged with something and the charges are still pending?
So this is how it all went down because it was confusing to me at first. I was at work. It was about 10 o'clock in the morning. They come and pick me up. They had stated to CBI, the Colorado Bureau of Investigations, came and picked me up off the Schriever Space Force Base, the military base. They served me with a warrant, 2 warrants, which was like felon in possession of a firearm, something to that matter, and then felony forgery. The basis of their charges is that I am a convicted felon. I have already reached out to the courts in Wyoming because when I was younger, I did have a past. And I have all my paperwork, I have all my court numbers, my documents, and everything to prove that the allegations against me are false because I am not a convicted felon.
Okay,
I'm just not.
That's my...
You've never had a felony anywhere?
No, in 2012, I was charged with a felony that was amended down to a misdemeanor. That was the whole thing.
Okay. And that was in Wyoming, you said, yeah?
Yeah, I moved out to Colorado, and this is what's bugging me, is I moved out here for a different reputation. I'm finally quit drinking. I quit smoking cigarettes. I'm sober. I'm trying to be a good dad for my children, and then now I have to explain to them that I'm in jail again, and I'm on bond again, and, it's not fair.
Wow. All right, so it all stems from he doesn't have a felony, yet all the charges against him are based on the fact that he has a felony. What? Now, it's obviously something wrong with the way they tie things up in Wyoming.
Yeah, and I can prove to them that I don't have a felony. I have all my paperwork. I went to the store and bought a binder and the tabs and everything like I'm a lawyer or something because my innocence means the world to me.
Of course it does. Of course.
And you think, all right, so in my imagination, which I know it's way far off from the reality of law because we've been doing this long enough, and I'm stunned sometimes on how many hoops you have to jump through for something that's so simple. But you think the next court date shows up, hey, here's my arrest record from Wyoming. It was a misdemeanor. I have no felonies. Boom, case dismissed, right? And the cameras flash, and he walks home a free man. But it's not the case, Dave. You look puzzled over there.
You know why I'm puzzled is because I'm just trying to still understand some of the predicate issues. So in Wyoming, they amended it down to a misdemeanor. Did you take a plea? Were you convicted? What's the
I was convicted of a misdemeanor reckless endangering. I did 9 days in jail and a year unsupervised probation.
All right.
And
you made it through your probation clear, right?
Yeah, I cleared everything. You know what I mean? Like, I was good. I didn't have any slip-ups on that probation. I did everything that I was told to do.
All right. So with this whole felon in possession, and let me back up quick.
I'm sorry. Let me give you.
Please.
I missed a small piece of information that's really important. The reason the warrants were issued was after I quit drinking, I told my wife I wanted at least 90 days sober before I went and bought a firearm. Safety first. I went and tried to buy a firearm and was denied. And then I went onto the CBI's profile where they gave me a website to find out why I was denied. And in the process of doing that is when they served me the warrant, which, like I said, I have all the paperwork, all the evidence, this case, that case. I'm working on getting my discoveries for my original arrest and everything to just keep stacking on more evidence to show them I didn't do it. I'm not a bad person.
Okay. Now I'm even more confused. Okay.
I'm sorry. It's confusing, Kate. I'm sorry.
Sure. So when you were in your 90-day window and When did you go try to buy a firearm? How long ago was this?
It was 8/16. I went to try to buy a firearm.
This year, August 16th.
And it was September when you got your visit then,
September 19th is when I was arrested.
A month later.
All right.
Yes.
So why were you denied the firearm?
I was denied the same thing. Even the NCIC and the federal government have me listed as a convicted felon.
Okay.
That's what the paperwork from the CBI says, is the conviction on this case number and this year and this date, and I have the paperwork to prove that allegation against me is false.
All right. So they are looking, though, at records for the same person. Is there any indication that this is not you? Their record is for a different Guadalupe.
No, it's all me.
Okay, so it is the case number from Wyoming?
The case number from 2012, yeah.
Okay, that's right.
But the case here is in Colorado.
Oh, I understand that. I understand. But what we're trying to do is figure out, in order for them to prove their case.
Well, how do they stick him with felony and possession of a firearm if he didn't buy the gun?
Attempted. I don't know exactly all the statutes. But then, yes, you're right. But the real issue, he's going to have to be able to show that he's not a felon. And so their evidence apparently is that he is. So there's a record snafu, or Guadalupe, is there any chance that you actually did also plead to a felony that you're just not familiar with, like you forgot about?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. So do you have the disposition record, like the actual court record showing that what you pleaded to, what your final charge was? Okay.
Yes, sir. I have all that paperwork. Yes,
all
sir.
right. Now, at any point, did you explain that to the arresting officers, or?
I've explained that to everybody. Yeah. Every single person I've talked to, and everybody basically tells me I need to be quiet. I have the right to remain silent. Blah blah blah. And then when I go to tell them I'm innocent, they say, "Well, you have to do process. You got to get an attorney.
Yeah.
You have to jump through these hoops. And everybody is like, well, maybe they'll give you a plea deal. I'm not taking a plea deal.
I understand
I'm 100% innocent. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
So I think here's the thing. His original question, from what I thought, was, how are we going to deal with the fact that he was wrongly arrested and what it's doing to him? Your main goal right now, it needs to be to get this stuff dismissed altogether.
Correct. So that is step one for me, is proving I'm innocent.
Is it because this is so convoluted? Can he get his money back if he spends money on a lawyer and make them pay for that? Is that you hear about that sometimes? No,
I mean, really, here's the thing. In order to be able to prove that you were unlawfully arrested, you're going to have a set of facts and circumstances in a way that leads to some kind of compensable response. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to sue somebody for unlawful arrest or detainer, or there are certain avenues, even through federal law, that allow you to proceed with a claim that could lead to you getting money from the government. But we're so far from that at this point. Right now, they have apparently a viable claim against you. Now, it's predicated, it sounds like, on a bogus foundational issue, which is your felony conviction, which doesn't exist. It's a misdemeanor conviction.
Correct.
And your two options that you have, and I'm not saying these are your only options, but obviously one of them is to try to scrape up enough money to get somebody to help you, a criminal attorney. This is a criminal defense attorney situation at this stage.
Right.
The second thing is, if you're going to proceed by yourself, pro se, making sure you have your ducks in a row here and that you have all of the documentation. It sounds like you're doing all of this. I don't think I'm telling you anything you don't know, Guadalupe, but to be able to prove that you don't have a felony. Because once you can prove that you don't have a felony, their charges are evaporated. We're hoping everything kind of goes right. You still have your job.
Right.
You'll be back allowed to be able to do whatever your job is that involves sometimes being on a military installation. But you got to clear that up, because if you don't clear that up now, this kind of thing can haunt you in the future again and again and again for other things too, not just trying to possess a weapon.
My steps in this is, step one, prove I'm innocent.
Right.
Which, of course, I have to be patient and do my due diligence, because I'm walking on eggshells right now.
Yeah.
Step number two is to make sure that this never happens to me again.
That's right.
And then step number three is to find out if I can get compensation for all the money that I've lost, because if it wasn't for this week coming out here to work, and thank you guys for bringing me on here. I feel really good about this, but I was stressed about losing my house. Like, just working this week is what'll make me be able to stay at my house without losing mortgage? My home.
Huh.
Well, I live in an apartment, and I was working on getting a house. You know what I mean? But my credit's getting better and everything, and they're trying to push me down, and I'm not going to let that happen. You know.
Now, are you in? Is this a federal charge against you? Then, I mean, the CBI got involved. I mean, is the state? I mean, what are you like? The CBI is Colorado, so you're not. I mean, you got this interstate stuff here, but I mean, you're in Colorado court, though.
Yeah.
You're in a district court somewhere here in Colorado.
Correct. Yeah, and I don't have my paperwork in front of me to give you the finer details.
I don't need to know that right now. But
when's your next court hearing? Do you know?
My next court date is October 22nd, so next week on Tuesday.
All right, and do you know what kind of court date that is?
I know I had my advisement, which was just them giving me information. Mm-hmm. And then my last court date, I didn't even plea or anything. I just basically told them what it was, and she said, go back and try to get another public defender the day before court, and we'll see you on the 22nd. So honestly, I can't even tell you what's fixing to happen on next
They may try to set a trial date. I mean, what you need right now is a chance to just be able to present evidence and to see their evidence, too, their discovery.
Because I've already requested their discovery, too. I'm waiting on that information to come back as well.
Okay.
Is it best to talk to... Have you talked to anyone in Wyoming at all?
Yeah, I've been on and off the phone with the Wyoming court system, the Colorado court system. Like, I felt like I went from a skilled trade to, like, a desk jockey or something.
He's a part-time lawyer. Man, that's just so terrifying, honestly. Because it can happen to almost anyone. Just a little clerical error, and this guy's life is in chaos.
Especially if you're going to go in by yourself next week in front of the judge. It would be, you'd make an attempt to, obviously bring the paperwork in from your disposition showing that you don't have that felony. And just say, Judge,
I have all of it organized and ready to present.
Judge, if you'll allow me, maybe the judge says, look, Judge, if you'll allow me, I understand, maybe, I think we could maybe speed things up if I can just show that, because I think there's a mistake here, a mistake of fact. I think I have it. I think I don't. Here's what I have that says it. I mean, a judge may not entertain that right then. It's not an evidentiary hearing that's on the docket, but, every chance you get to try to explain, like, this is why I'm not a felon, and here's the proof. Like, we could make all of this go away right now.
Yeah, it should be that simple. It's like, hey, it's a clerical. Look,
the district attorney's office, they have a lot on their plate. The last thing they want to do is push a case where there are just no facts to support their prosecution.
Yeah,
they really don't.
And that's my biggest thing. My biggest thing is you guys have so many more people out there that need to be off of the streets, and you're worried about me. Like, I'm not that guy. You're wasting your time. You could be doing something so much more justified in this country than chasing an innocent man.
I will just say, if you could get enough together to, and maybe you can even reach out to a law school. So, we have two law schools in Colorado. One in University of Denver, and the other one's in Boulder, University of Colorado. The only two in Colorado.
Okay.
They have legal clinics where they staff them with law students, and they can provide some level of pro bono support for certain things. And they may have a clinic that supports some of this. I mean, granted, we have a public defender system that's designed to provide legal criminal defense for indigent, and you've clearly not qualified for that, as you've explained. But to the extent you can get a criminal lawyer to help you out, it can speed things up so quickly. And it may not cost a lot of money if what they need to do is just put some documents in front of the DA, make a phone call to the assistant DA who's prosecuting the case, say, like, I'm representing so-and-so, we've got court scheduled, October 22nd. Let me just get this info in front of you, because I don't think you guys have a case here. And obviously we'll do formal discovery exchanges later, but I mean, help me out so that we're not wasting the judge's time, we're not wasting your time, and Guadalupe can get back to his life.
Right.
And that's been my biggest problem, is that all the people I've talked to have basically told me the same thing. If I can come up with some money to give them, they'll get to the DA's office as soon as possible and present my evidence, and then we'll go from there. But without a dollar sign in front of me, you know what I mean? I'm stuck between a hard and a rock place.
All right. Well, keep doing what you're doing right now until you can get that lawyer to help you out.
Yeah, I said, they're not going to break me, man. I've been through too much in my life. They can try all they want, but I got kids I'm raising. I'm trying to set an example for our future. You know what I mean? I got time for this.
I understand. That's terrifying, man. So how does he just see you and ask the law?
Yeah, I mean, you can go online. I mean, these clinics are... Oh my gosh, it's been forever since I've looked at
CSU, and what was the other?
No, CU, University of Colorado. CU and DU. Just remember the U's. CU, DU. Well, a lot of U's. CU and DU. Each have law schools with legal clinics. But again, I'm not sure that they don't always provide legal clinics when there is another agency like the Public Defender's Office that provides similar kind of help to people who can't afford the help. You know, you're in really kind of a pickle. Yeah, right. You make so much to qualify for PD, but you don't have enough to actually really pay for a private attorney.
Yeah, and then when they gave me my actual paperwork, they didn't even have both charges that were on the warrant. They only had the felony forgery on there, which is confusing too. Like, you came at me with multiple charges, and now there's only one.
Yeah, well, so what is the felony forgery for?
Because he said he was a felon.
They're claiming that I'm an alleged felon that willingly went to try to purchase a firearm knowing I was a felon, which I'm not. You know what I mean? So that's why they're trying to say did felony forgery is that I forged the paperwork trying to purchase the firearm.
He's a catch-22 guy.
Yep.
That's what he is. He's just in this infinite loop of hell.
Captain 22.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Track down some folks at CU or DU. See if you can get help that way. Bring yourself to your thing next Tuesday. Maybe they'll slam the gavel and put this thing out. Otherwise, keep in touch with us. We'll see if we can help you out anymore, all right?
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys reaching out. I do just want to say thank you so much. It makes me feel better that there are people out there that care.
You bet we do. And Guadalupe, I'm sorry because you're clearly working hard to try to do the right thing and stay on the straight and narrow. And
keep fighting the good fight, dude. Don't let this break you, like you said.
It's stressful and mentally, like I'm broken, but I don't have time to be broken.
There you go.
I can fix that later. You know what I mean? I don't have time.
That's exactly right. Yeah, let's clear it up now.
You're listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM. Presented by McDivitt Law Firm.
So, vehicles towed, it was called in by a business owner, but it wasn't on that business owner's property. Police came, RMA Auto towed it away, said I needed to pay $200 to get my personal belongings out. Do they do that? Man, that's kind of mean.
It's pretty rough.
Hey, we got your car. Yeah, you need to take your coat out. Go ahead. Hey, you want to open the door? $200. I don't know if that's legal or not, by the way. So, never notified me about towing it. It's been a couple months, and they racked up storage fees now. Can I get my vehicle back or my belongings? It wasn't parked there 24 hours. Is it legal to do what they're doing, the tow company? Hey, that sounds greasy. Can you really charge someone to get their personal belongings out? I guess you could charge them to get hey, sorry, you got to get your whole car out if you want to get into it. So wants to know what you can do. He has a picture of where it's parked between a couple concrete blocks. So even if he was illegally parked and it was legally towed, do you know if they can charge you to get your personal belongings out? That seems like a little greasy.
This isn't something I deal with very often, and I did some quick research on it too. There were some legislative updates this year that imposed new procedures and rights that people have when their vehicle is towed. And from what I understand, and I don't know if it can be enacted by the legislature and then it just doesn't come into effect until a certain date. So I don't even know if this is effective yet. But assuming it's effective, there are, I think, some policies now that say if you are able to pay the lesser of 15% of the tow costs, storage costs are $60.
Oh, so they kind of cap it?
Yeah, they've capped it at a minimum of essentially $60. You should be able to get access to your vehicle as long as you have some kind of agreement in place to pay the remaining balance later. Now, again, I don't know if I'm just trying to put eyes on this very quickly to help him out here, but the Public Utilities Commission in Colorado generally regulates towing companies, and they have a formal complaint channel too.
Oh, really?
So you go through that process, and they can levy penalties against the towing company if they've done something that they're not supposed to do.
So they would know whether or not that's legal to say, $200, I'll let you get in there and get your stuff.
Yeah. Another $50, and I'll let you turn on the radio for a while too.
All right.
But you want to get the CD out of the CD player.
Well, I know because long story, After senior, me and my buddy were going to trip to Lake Havasu and go have debauchery and fun. We broke down outside of Gallup, New Mexico, which if you've never been there, it's the middle of the desert. And so to get my car towed to this really kind of greasy backwoods shop. And then we basically stayed at a KOA campground for 4 days. They fixed my truck, and then we turned around and went home.
I was going to say, how much beer was there at the KOA campground?
Not much.
Not Lake Havasu beer.
We had a blue tarp. That was basically it. So we were going, dancing with ladies and swimming in the water.
Oh, my God.
Laying under a tarp in Gallup, New Mexico for 4 days. But these guys, like I